Hello ladies and gents, welcome to today's video, and today I'm going to review, document, and sound demo these beautiful guitars. These are PRS SE Paul Allender Signature Series guitars. They come in six different colors, and there are 12 different variants. These two in particular are the Emerald Burst and the Purple Burst. And let's get right into the specs and features of these guitars. So these guitars come with a traditional PRS tremolo, EMG's 81 and 89 TW pickups, which are coil tapped, ebony fretboards with really cool bat inlays that replace a traditional PRS birds. So really cool guitars. Definitely they have a Halloween-y vibe going on. In this video I'll focus a little bit more on the Emerald Burst version of this guitar, just because the Purple Burst has gotten its own review video in the past. But let's get into what makes this guitar unique and different from other Signature Series PRS guitars. So number one is the inlays. They have these really cool bat inlays that contrast really well with the ebony fretboard. They're made out of acrylic, which is nothing special. But one thing I wanted to point out is that I've seen this design in Schecter guitars as well. I don't know who ripped off who, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Schecter who ripped off PRS, as that's a pattern I've seen with Schecter guitars. Not to say that they're bad guitars in particular, but I've noticed a pattern where they basically rip off like 95% of somebody else's guitar design. But again, that's not to say they're bad guitars. I've actually never tried one out and I hear good things about them, but I just wanted to point that out. Sadly, these guitars are no longer in production. When they were, they came in 5 different colors, and I do apologize because earlier I said 6 different colors. However, I had a guitar in mind, an additional guitar in mind in that collection that wasn't Paul Allender's. So anyway, these guitars came in red, green, purple, gray, and dark red bursts. Each color had 2 variants, flame maple top, which is what you guys see with this guitar, and a quilt maple top. In my opinion, the flame maple top is superior in construction because the fretboards are a lot better, and I'll get more into that later, as well as they try to give you better electronics as opposed to the quilt maple top, which has just your standard SE pickups, and the ebony fretboard isn't as nice. Again, I'll get more into that later, but admittedly the hardware is gold, which aesthetically is better. Each guitar has its own charm cosmetically, but in terms of construction and playability, the flame maple tops are much better. The back of these guitars is nothing exceptional. In all 12 of them, you just have your standard PRS contours. The back of the neck is painted. It's coated in lacquer. It comes with SE cheap tuners, which hold tune pretty well, to be fair. But on the purple one, I changed those to be Godot locking tuners, which make changing strings a lot easier and a lot faster. Undeniably though, these guitars are excellent. They come from what I believe to be SE's golden age, but it doesn't seem like that golden age has ended since 2010, just because they make such great guitars. So these guitars, as well as the PRS SE Orianthi that I own, are some of the best SEs, scratch that, some of the best guitars I've ever owned. The construction and quality of these guitars is insane, and it's a primary reason why I haven't bought a more expensive PRS or an expensive Fender, because these guitars more than do the job. So spending money on a more expensive guitar would just be either redundant or stupid of me. The PRS SE Orianthi I plan to keep for the rest of my life. These Paul Allender guitars I'm gonna sell at some point because I've got to pay for college somehow. But the point of this rant is that even though I am primarily an ESP guy, I will admit that PRS makes some excellent guitars even in their SE line. So here's a view of the guitar bare without the pickups or the knobs or the tremolo, and this guitar just looks beautiful. I bought this secondhand. The purple one is mint, this one wasn't. This one is pretty beat up, but you guys can't even see that unless you stand close to this guitar. The routing cavities look very good. I'm sure they just have a machine that cuts them out, so there's no way they can fuck that up. But the inside is well shielded with the paint and all that. The EMGs on top, they have those pins, so you can use the quick connect system if you want to swap them or anything like that. So excellent build on this guitar. And let's move on to the fretboard. So as you guys have heard me say in this video, the ebony fretboard on this guitar is excellent. Much better than like the ebony, quote-unquote ebony fretboards on the quilt maple tops. I haven't even cleaned this fretboard, and just look at how well, I don't even have the word to express it, how beautiful that ebony fretboard is, as opposed to like the fake ebony fretboards that have a lot of cavities and pores and stuff like that, in which dirt and sweat and all that can basically pile into. So great build on this guitar, and the headstock is nothing special. You just have your tuner holes and the truss rod there. So nothing crazy going on there, but it works and it sounds great. So what more could you ask for? It holds tune very well, which is a must in a good quality guitar. The back of this guitar, nothing too crazy. The writing on the back cavity is a little bit rough, but you know, it's shielded off, and you have the plate that covers all that up, so you don't have to worry about that too much. But I just wanted to show you guys the cavities and everything that is underneath the hood. The wiring on the versions of these guitars that have the EMG pickups is very complex, a little more complex than I would have wanted to, but I kind of anticipated that just based on the fact that they're active pickups and they're also coil tapped. They're honestly some of the best EMGs that I've listened to. There's some very good clarity, some very good versatility, as opposed to most EMGs, which just sound like they're tailored for muddy metal kind of shit. But anyway, I do like the tone of these pickups. Downside of that is that the wiring is complex, so if you want to put them on some other guitar or swap them out of this guitar to put them in another guitar, it can be a pain in the ass. For the tone test demo of this guitar, I'm just going to use the purple burst guitar. There's not a big difference in between the sound of this green one and the purple one, just because they have the same pickups. So yeah, there would be no point of me A-Bing this guitar versus the purple burst guitar. But yeah, let's get into the tone test demo, and then we'll talk more about what I think about this guitar and my initial thoughts after playing it for a little while, just to inform you guys. Okay guys, so after having owned and played this guitar for a few months, I can say that it's a very good guitar. It is also very comfortable when you play with it sitting down, standing up, whether you hold it as I am right now. So it's a very comfortable guitar no matter how you hold it. It is a little bit heavy, but nothing too crazy. Not only that, this guitar is beautiful. The veneer top is very active, so the pattern on the top looks different from almost every different angle. And this guitar I got secondhand. It's pretty beat up, but you can't tell unless you look at the guitar very closely, which I don't know if that was intended of PRS, but it definitely preserves how it projects the top. So that's I don't know if that's an intended thing that they did, but it's a bonus either way. I do apologize for the buzzing that was in the tone test, especially in the clean test, but I have no idea where that came from. It definitely wasn't coming from the pickups or the amp, but keep in mind that I record these with just a lapel mic and my iPhone. I do nothing fancy to record these videos because I do it for fun, not as a profession. So again, I don't know where that buzzing came from, but it wasn't from the guitar. In case you guys were curious as to why I record the tone test demos not with a computer and syncing the video or anything like that, is because my philosophy is, if I can make it sound good through an iPhone camera and microphone, then it'll sound much better in person. So back when these guitars were in production and you would buy them out of a dealer or a factory, you would get them with a gig bag that was either black, red, or brown. I always thought it was weird that PRS didn't just issue all of these guitars with a black gig bag, as having a green guitar with a red gig bag creates a very weird contrast. But the gig bags were free and they're really good gig bags, so I'm not complaining too much, as I just want to inform you guys of what you would get back in the day, or what you get now, because they still do this with their SE guitars. The Purple Burst guitar, because I bought that mid 2010s new, I wanted to preserve that in mint condition, so I bought a hard shell case. So I suggest you do that for your PRS SE if you want to preserve it in its mint condition. Okay guys, so final thoughts on these guitars. In terms of sound, I give them an 8 out of 10. So great sounding EMGs, very versatile. However, they still sound like EMGs, which is why I don't give these guitars a higher rating in that department. Obviously you can switch them out, but I'm just rating this guitar based on how it comes out of the factory. In terms of construction, I give these guitars a 9 out of 10. Very well built guitars, excellent construction. Again, that ebony fretboard is just, I freaking love it. It's they have some of the best ebony fretboards I've seen on any guitar. And in terms of aesthetics, I give these guitars a 9 out of 10. Beautiful guitars. They do have a very Halloween-y vibe, but it's subtle enough that you can use these guitars like in any situation. You can probably play one of these guitars at a wedding and nobody would bat an eye, no pun intended. They're also very comfortable guitars, which makes them a joy to play, whether you're sitting down, standing up, or however you hold it. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is that a difference between these two guitars, besides the color, is that the purple one has binding. So if you like the binding on your guitars and you want to get one of these, it's definitely something to look out for, as you can very easily assume that they all have it and just buy one that doesn't have it and sort of be disappointed when you get your guitar. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining me. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns regarding these guitars, leave them in the comment section of this video and I'll get to them as soon as possible. Besides that, you guys stay safe, and again, thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.